Hello and welcome everyone to a Sacred Symbols reading. I'm your host, Desiree DeMars, and it is Friday, January 6th, I believe, and it's a little blustery here in North Carolina. I don't know what kind of weather we're getting in. I hope everyone is safe. I see the West Coast is getting inundated with water, which I know astrologically is a theme for 2023. And I know we're up for some really fast-paced movement coming in. I would highly recommend listening to Pam Gregory at pamgregory.com for really grounded, practical information about how you can navigate through these times with the support of the planetary bodies and their energies, and understanding how to zig and zag through all of that. So with that said, I'd like to just begin by diving into our invocation, our meditation, our awareness, our attention to the breath. So get yourself settled in if you're following along. And I know, of course, you might also want to just skip over this and listen to the content. But if you're participating, get yourself really grounded, ideally feet on the floor, feeling your tailbone sinking into the cushion of the chair that you're in. And feel yourself just coming into a place of stillness so you can become aware of your breath and aware of your surroundings. Just becoming aware fully as you can of the present moment. Then feeling that, sensing that, and then taking 2 or 3 conscious breaths in through the nose and holding. And exhaling as you activate the vagal nerve in supporting the entire system to connect, to come online, so to speak. Turning on that software program. And it's also bringing into alignment. What we'll be doing here is bringing into alignment the mind and the heart, bringing it into coherence. And if you're curious about learning more about coherence, I recommend HeartMath, heartmath.com, to find many, many years of research and studies about coherence. So as you deepen that breath, I'm sure you feel an opportunity then to relax the head, neck, and shoulders. And then feeling that energy go even deeper, all the way down to the center of the earth, feeling through your imagination a brilliant white light coming down from the heavens, surrounding us, and then bringing us even deeper into this connection, this anchoring into the center of the earth. The Pachamama energy, divine energy of the feminine creative life force that births all that is on this planet. Just feeling your connection to this iron molten core, which then activates the iron within our systems, our red blood cells, our immune system, turning that on, bringing this vital life force into our own body as it naturally flows back up through our toroidal field. And I'll see if I can post a link onto my website where I show an illustration of the toroidal field. Not only do we have a toroidal field that goes through our central channel and expands outward, as we are 3-dimensional, more than 3D, we're multi-dimensional, we're holographic, and we also have a heart of toroidal field of the heart, and that's what we're bringing into alignment with the mind, the body and the mind. And just feeling that toroidal field expanding. Even if you don't really understand what that means, everything has a field, a toroidal field. This is the flow, the movement of the universe. And we'll be expanding into this awareness, this I am presence, right? Our intention, where we're placing our attention, and this movement. And movement can also become action. Where are we taking action to move toward our intention by placing our power or our attention in those places? And as you feel that energy build and grow, we know that we are activating all of our chakras so that all of our chakras are open, fully functioning, front and back, balanced and aligned. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and white, spilling out over the top of the head and flowing back down, an infinite and eternal cycle of vital life force energy. And we know the emotional, tune in for a moment into the emotional aspects of these chakras. Joy, peace, strength, courage, gratitude, humility, and divine love. And feel yourself filling this space that expands out with the toroidal field, your awareness flowing into it. Feel those emotions, right? Especially those upper 3 or 4, courage at the heart, gratitude, activating this open heart space, and then humility for this gift to walk freely, to roam freely on this planet Earth and receive. And then finally, that divine love. If all you did was focus on divine love, that would be complete in of itself. Would encompass all that is, the great mystery. That's what we're tapping into, our superconscious awareness, or the knowing field. And I'm going to invite you all to just keep your eyes open. Today is my interview with the Shift Network. We'll be recording it, and it will be very similar to this. I'm hoping to have it be more experiential rather than just talking about the concepts. And we'll dive into different aspects of a reading for 2023, which we did last week here. And so now, as we're stepping forward into a second week in the new year, allow that intention or that awareness of what your heart's desire is to form. So feel your intention filling your heart for this next week, this week of January 8th coming up. Well, just call it in, let it kind of settle in on its own accord and find its way into this alignment that we've created. And then one last thing with your imagination now, visualize a golden light coming in, which is the golden grid of light coming down, and feeling that fill the central channel, knowing that we are just a point of light on this beautiful golden grid, this golden essence, sparking a sense of our own divinity, right? Our own self-love, our own power, our own empowerment of creativity. And then calling into the sacred circle all of the directions, the east, the south, the west, the north, above, below, and the middle. We call in all of the elementals, earth, air, fire, water, ether, plasma, neutrinos, and gammas, and all of those elements still unknown to man. Come and be with us. Come and be with us. Sit beside us in the sacred ceremony here and now to receive guidance and wisdom for this first big step into our new year. Come and be with us. Come and be with us. All of our guides, angels, teachers, sit beside us, those seen and unseen, the magical and the mystical, the two-legged, the four-legged, the many-legged, the winged ones, the finned ones, the creepy crawlers. Come and be with us. Come and be with us as we take this step forward and ask for support, guidance, and clarity now that we have crossed the threshold of the new year. Come and be with us, all of our ancestors, those who've gone before us, lived a good life and transcended and are now here working with us, co-creating with us on our behalf, trusting and knowing that as we ask, we shall receive. For as above, so below, as within, so without. So come and be with us, all of those whose names we do not know, but whose blood runs through our veins. Come and be with us. Come and be with us as we journey into this reading of 2023. And now allowing the sound of the rattle to just support even more deeply this alpha or theta state that you might be drifting into, and allowing us almost like a dream state to expand our awareness out even further. Beautiful. So, as you know, the next step is to blow this intention that we have in our heart into the pieces, the sacred symbols, the reading of the bones. So, join me in blowing 3 times into the basket. Beautiful, thank you. Now, as I throw the bones, what I'd like to do is flip the camera to this overhead camera here. I'll change the view. And I believe I have the light on. I am just going to share my screen with you. So just kind of take all that in, sitting with your intention and bringing your attention now to the cloth, to the pieces as they land. There we go. I'm trying to get it centered as they land on this cloth. There we go. Okay. So beautiful. Oh. So just notice what you notice. See if anything jumps out at you. I hope you can see the pieces. It's a little, well, it's not really, yeah, it's a little overcast. And just notice anything that pops out, anything that makes itself known, and you can just be aware of it and see if I mention it during the reading itself. And where I'd like to begin today is right here at the inquiry. So this piece of coral, and it's very interesting because there's a lot going on. I think there's a lot going on, and I think there's a lot going on in our world today, each of us, and in the universe. And I'm also noticing this is an interesting configuration. We have the mind here, this idea of a balanced mind, or the mind itself, the thought processes, and inside of it is resting it's like a little petrified piece of a sea lily, a giant sea lily. And so that's interesting. So it's all, the sea lily is all about grounding, really grounding balancing, providing a foundation for whatever it is we want to move out into the world with, right? This is talking stick, so there's energy here about expression, expressing the self, being heard. We also have uh, eagle condor nearby, and eagle condor is actually looking right at you, where you would be sitting here, and right almost on top of father. So your father, and there's a piece inside this little nook of father that's about frequency. So for many of us, our fathers are not here in human form right now, but knowing that they're still here in frequency in our lineage. And then this is our creative path, right? The spiritual path of a creator, of creativity. So father is facing right into that idea of, reflecting. Let's just take some time this week to reflect on how was your father a creator in your life, or maybe a model, or maybe not a role model. How was your father present in this experience of like the soul's journey, right? The soul's expression, because the father is a part of that foundation, right? That is paving the way, right? Providing this context for our life to form. And right on top of, almost on the back of eagle condor, we have passion. So, looking inward to see, like, what do you have a passion for? How did it align or not align with your father's vision and this energy of father in your life as you flow through this sacred journey of life as a human 101. And right here at the base of this inquiry today, so whatever you were holding in your heart, just know that we have this beautiful ancestor here, which is on our mother's side, the maternal grandmother. The idea of having your eyes wide open, right? The third eye center. And here is Uranus and Venus. So that's interesting. What is truth, love, and beauty for you? What inspires you? What brings passion into your life? What really gets you juicy about your day ahead, or these plans even further ahead? Because this one here on the dice is also signifying like a new beginning, a seed is being planted, something new coming into form through this aspect of an idea, a thought, or a seed. And right next to that, again, just kind of in the crook of that one is bear claw. So this idea of, maybe if you feel like you really still need clarity about what that means to you, or what your vision is, you're still working on this vision of 2023, what's going on for you, where you want to place your attention. Is Bear Claw is saying, introspection is important. It's important to take time daily to review your goals. That's a great thing to do. I do that in my coaching work with recoding, is that we get a clear choice, right? Clear choices for our end result, what we want to have as an end result. And we will look at those every day, building upon that idea of what it is we want. And just know that this energy, when I was saying there's a lot going on, what's kind of underlying all of it, this bone here is all about a rebirth, right? Feeling the sense of being reborn. I think this is a big theme astrologically, I know, for 2023, is this idea of sovereignty and really being true to the self. Creating the truth that comes from your own self identity, your self your own vision. And then we've got some really interesting stuff going on. I know there's a lot of health issues going on for people here. We have Pachamama and the Great Mystery. We have some ancient ones. Let's see, on our father's side. But here, I was very kind of fascinated by this configuration here. We've got the lock resting upon dragon's blood and our DNA. So I know we are moving through the photon belt. There is a lot going on. We're being affected by these solar flares, all kinds of elemental aspects that we have never experienced before. And this light that we are entering into, these light fields that we are being affected by, this is all new. We're discovering these parts of ourself too. So take time. I would say what's important here is this is about ceremony, and it's resting on the moon. So I know we have a full moon today in Cancer, so there's a lot of water energy, a lot of emotional energy, maybe a lot of emotional charge going on right now around issues for you. I just noticed for me, there's an issue. I work at a gallery at a center, and this is going to be a big theme, I know, in 2023. And like I said, you can learn more through Pam Gregory, astrologer, who's just magnificent at verbalizing this and bringing it down to earth. But human rights, right? This idea of human rights and rights as a person, as a being, who deserves equality, who deserves to be loved, supported, right? To be communicated, connected to, and with integrity. And this is a part of, I think, what's going on here. This is the blueprint. It's so fascinating that we came in with. So whatever this blueprint is of our memories, our thoughts, beliefs, patterns, and it's upside down. So there's something like, I would say, like about a reviewing that, really looking at what is underlying, what does that mean, and what parts of the blueprint would you like to change? Because this here is about the sacred, recognizing the sacred within all things. And here are some ancestors. This is beautiful, kind of mirroring the other ancestor who's here at the center. And here, just to note, what's important is right dead center is you, right? You, the individual. And so we're also looking at the ancient ones on our mother's side. So we've got the ancient ones really here resonating, teaching us in spirit that in order to stay grounded, what's important is to acknowledge the sacredness of all things, not just a few things, not just the things we like out of our convenience, but the things that, knowing that it takes this connection of all things, this intertwinement, this interconnectedness, for it all to operate or express itself in a wholeness, right? It's about the wholeness. And here we are wide open, right at the middle, and here's mother. So that's interesting. We have father and mother. We have father kind of here at the foundation of the intention, kind of looking at, okay, how is that affecting our foundation, our baseline, and as are the baseline of our blueprint. And then how is mother? It's like mother, I see the feminine really is almost like having to be a warrior of the heart. This is what I say this is about. It's about the return of power to the feminine, that feminine aspect of yourself. And here is her sword. It's about like cutting away, right? What no longer serves. I would say that's important. Cutting away what no longer serves. And I know astrologically at this time, you're going to get a lot of support. We're having a lot of support to see this move forward and actually come into fruition. Here is the shaman, right? The medicine within yourself, even being your own medicine. And this is important. There's a pointer here looking, saying to focus in on this area of Saturn, of old patterns, what's being what now is kind of falling apart, or what needs to fall apart, and then what needs to shine from that as we move into the future. And we have horse here looking into the future about our life's work. That's what this is about. Our power, third chakra, our life's work, empowerment to really live our purpose, live and breathe our true purpose. And to do that, what is lined up with this pointer here is deer toe. So interesting, really pointing to look at the, I think it's really mirroring actually what's here. It's like it's deepening it, like go another layer deeper, right? About the foundation, the father. Saturn is also often looked at as the father energy. And it's finding that place where you feel here is the Celtic knot in the heart. So it's like the sacred union with the self. How are you expressing that? How are you holding that in the foundation of who you are, where you're going, what you want to do? And how are you bringing that out into the world? So really look at that and know that a part of it is just being in the awe and wonder. That's a big part of deer, is the childlike innocence of awe and wonder. And here is the eye of God, just knowing that it is unfolding in an incredible way. Here is ancient ones, the women on your father's side, the paternal ancient ones. And they are really here supporting us in this cycle of life, this circle of life, and asking us, inviting us to reflect, to really do some deep reflections. Still, I think it's a theme for the month, really. Like I said, now we're in this Cancer period. And so really look at the emotions, right? And see, let me scoot this up a little bit so I can slide it down. There we go. And really take time for reflection, just for deeper levels of understanding, new perspectives, right? Not just the usual. And here is the piece of the other, this shell. And that is, it's interesting because it's resting on, I can't move this anymore. Let me see if I can get this going here. There we go. I'm right up against the stand that I've got the computer on. But if you can see just the little tiny bit here of this is the other, whoever's in your life, partnership, work, co-creators, but we have frog, right? We have this beautiful jade frog, and he is expressing or inviting us to also remember that the other is a part of the collective. This is our co-creative partnership. So there's something going on. Look at how your vision includes the collective and how that brings things forward for you. And in fact, here is the key. So when I said here's the lock, and the lock is all about what's maybe challenging, frustrating, or just changing beyond what recognition for you. You have no concept, no understanding of some of the changes that are going on when we're talking about DNA, other than we know now with this discovery and understanding about epigenetics is that we may not be able to change the DNA per se, the sequence itself, but we can. This is what epigenetics is all about, is about the environment, the mental attitude, right? The way we hold, the understanding of how this is going to play out in our life, right? How these patterns, thoughts, and beliefs are going to play out in our life. And the key to that, to really being in sync with that movement, with that flow of energy forward, that action is, let me see here. It's so interesting. It's showing, well, number one is, it's obvious here, is like little Buddha, to open up the inner eye, see things from another perspective, see things in a different alignment. That's what I'm seeing here. And also having an understanding physically about abundance, that there's unlimited amount of abundance in the universe and you deserve it. Yes, and this is the earth. So it's like looking at this idea of how we are in relationship physically to this idea of abundance here on earth, that we are being provided for at all times. It is our birthright of being human. And this is this is what's playing into human rights too, in our awareness, greater awareness of human rights for all. And with that said, this is a beautiful configuration. We've got the great ones on both our mother and father sides, a maternal and paternal great ones, the great grandparents, the great greats, and the great great greats. If you can just visualize even 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 generations back, knowing that as we're just becoming even aware energetically of their presence in our life, that then we are affecting the future. We are affecting how we see the present moment, which in turn affects our future. So here is the vision. The vision is standing out, right? Well, it's right next to Pluto and Mercury, so that's interesting. Pluto is big changes, big cosmic changes. Mercury is the expression of the self, right? Communication, this idea of energy, ideas, thoughts, manifestation, moving forward through a communicative process, an energetic flow. So, taking this time, this reflective time to see with the inner eye as we move forward. And that way we're able to see through this little spiral shell. It's wide open, which is really nice. And it represents, though, this kind of fog we can get in sometimes when we just feel like we're stuck. We can't move beyond. And I would say the medicine or the cure, if you want to call it that, or just the antidote, so to speak, for this sense of when you get into like a mental fog or just a stuckness. It's all about remembering, right? This is about soul retrieval or soul remembering. Just going back and just remembering who you are. Stop, pause, take that deep breath, and remember who you truly are, that you are this brilliant light that came down from the heavens and is here in expression as a human to learn and grow, right, on your personal mission that is also intertwined with the other, right, with the community, the other, or the collective. And so I know here we come back around and we're seeing this idea of water right on top of the grandmother, your grandmother on your father's side. So take notice as to what is going on emotionally. And again, in your father's lineage, see if there's a connection that you have with, or just look at the connection that you have or had with your grandmother on your father's side, your father's mother, and see how that is interwoven with community. This is also about the throat chakra and expressing. So look at that aspect. That's all sometimes a key. I mean, here is grandfather on your mother's side. So this is your mother, this is your grandfather or your mother's father, and here is grandmother on your father's side. So that's interesting. Just look at that energy, those connections. I mean, here in this context, we don't have time to go through the deeper layers of this and how it might relate to you. So you're having to do some of your own digging here in understanding this. But I share these as like markers along the way, right? Or just, a signpost along the way of like, oh, or a little red flag, right? check this out. See if this resonates with you. If it does, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. And sometimes what happens, you'll find in a reading, when you're going more in depth with a reading and you're asking more personal questions about each of these and looking at the dynamic, your personal dynamic in your family lineage, we can see a few more layers. We can understand how these things may have influenced us, right? In a deeper way. But here's Jupiter really expanding on this idea too of notice what is, remember, notice, remember, be aware of in this huge transfiguration that we're having. Remember that here you go, this is who you truly are, the star that you are, your star nation, your star family. This is you're part of a greater evolutionary process. And what's important is to speak your truth about what it is that is not yet created, and so that supports the expansion of it as the seed is evolving and developing. You also have the support on a heart level of the angelic realms. If that resonates with you, that could be really helpful in this exploration of grandfather, grandmother, paternal grandmother, maternal grandfather. As this was our maternal grandmother here at the beginning, and we kind of come around to the maternal grandfather. And this idea then, where is your place in this family, in the star nation? Where are you part of a star nation? And then just, I think it's about also this week looks to me like it's a good time for pausing, maybe in digesting, integrating all that transpired through the holidays, because as I look at my timekeepers here, they're both facing up. It's kind of like just hold at the pause, take a moment to pause and recollect, reflect on what transpired during your holidays, what the themes were, who the people were that stood out, and how that affected you, you and your family or those you love. And just take notice of where that is in this evolutionary process or this transfigurative process for you in your life right now, because you are what is at the very center. Along with, the importance, I would say here, of power animals. We have, this is a little Buddha, and he's though representing this kind of this focus, the steadfast of panther, of jaguar, right? The jaguar, the stealth, the focus, the attention, the pinpointed attention, and allowing you to get crystal clear. It's like gaining that clarity about you, what is important to you in this journey. This seems to be the key essence of, it's the very center of the reading. Take that support that you have from the mother energy, your mother, this sword of truth, of the cutting away of what no longer serves, in order to change, literally change the foundation, which we talked about with Saturn here, this change, this shift, the shaman, embodying the shamanic self, right, in this process that you're in, this part of this piece of evolution that you're in right now, this chapter that is unfolding, that is this week of January 8th, 2023. So with that said, I want to thank everyone for joining me. Let me just flip this off. And let me stop my screen share for a moment and come back to, a full screen for you. There we go. And again, I just want to join you. I want to thank all of you for joining me, and I want to join you in just my hopes that there was something said, expressed, or understood in this brief overview of a reading today that brings some joy, clarity, wisdom into the journey that you're on. So I thank you all, and I want to close the circle then by just doing some more rattling with the intention of having gratitude and appreciation for all that was received, and knowing that even though it may have felt personal, whatever was received can be carried out into the world to others, to all those you have come in contact with, and that this reading is and is and was intended to be of service, right, on a for the greater good of all, right, for the greatest good of all. And then that would include you, right? It would be inclusive of everyone. So everyone would receive their greatest good in that moment. In full faith, so be it. Aho. And I'll post some information below. You can always go to my website. Most of what I share with you is somewhere on my website, and it's just www.desireedemars.com, or you can go to Desiree Demars YouTube and get some of that information too. My links are always on my YouTube channel too. So thank you again, and enjoy this big first step into 2023. Aho.